repression going, keep the cycle going until productivity increased. And eventually productivity increased, financial repression helped to wear down the debts. And over time, the economy took off and we had the 50s and the 60s and then into the 70s. And that was a magic period for GDP growth.
The global economy and the real estate and banking sectors were paralyzed in 2008 due to enormous debt. According to Raoul Pal, CEO and developer of Real Vision, quantitative easing saved the money system from near collapse during the global financial crisis. 2008 was supposed to be another 1929 moment, but for the timely intervention of the then Fed Chair Ben Bernanke, who had an understanding of what went wrong during the Great Depression and how using the Fed's balance sheet to deflate the value of money can save the system. That's exactly what the Fed and every other central bank did. However, their solution was only temporary. What they did optically increased asset prices and saved the system, but that policy became irreversible forever. The first round of printing and every other round after that led us to this very moment when it has become impossible for the system to self-regulate and survive on its own without central banks printing more money to prop it up. According to Powell, the singular obligation of the Fed and other central banks now is to prop up the baby boomer investor complex, because if it goes, the whole system implodes again and everything will be reduced to an extremely chaotic environment. Powell believes the boomers are at the very heart of the problem because of their sheer number to begin with. They caused the inflation of the 1970s when they started entering the workforce and competing for goods and services, and the turbulence of the 80s when they started buying financial assets. Then the WTO agreement allowed in more workers and investors from other parts of the globe, rapidly increasing asset prices, causing an insane amount of leverage in the system before everything got out of control in 2008. So all money printing exercises now are just an effort to add another band-aid to the massively wounded system, which ironically further worsens the situation. Yet central banks cannot stop slapping on band-aids. This is solidified Powell's belief that both people and the system are flawed. A well-known macro analyst and executive of Goldman Sachs just posted a video in which he describes our enslavement to debt and the only way out. For more, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and turn on post notifications.
Because of what they did. And they're repeating it now. It's very clear to me that that is the game. That is the game the Japanese are playing, the game the Europeans are playing. Everybody's playing the same game. So we know the game. We know debasement of currency is the other game. So here we know that if we don't play their game, you're going to get fucked. If you invest in assets that don't beat the balance sheets, the 15% a year, you're going to be losing money every year. So it's really important that that is your hurdle rate. And when you look at that, you suddenly realize that most assets don't beat it. The S&P doesn't really beat it. Gold certainly doesn't. Real estate unlevered doesn't. Most things don't beat that debasement. So if you invest in other things, you're going to lose money. And that's a hard lesson for people to learn. Most people don't understand this simple fact. Is you are getting poorer by investing in these things. And that was the big realization that got to me. It's like, oh my God, my whole macro world has been turned upside down. Because everything we thought was the investable asset became the non-investable asset. And everything we thought was non-investable because it was riskier became the asset. Because when you look at everything versus the Fed balance sheet as a simple example, there's only two assets that have gone up. And I've talked about this at length before. It's technology and it's crypto. So those are the things that we have. So that's why I've become so passionate about them. And really, it's crypto because it kills technology investing too. Technology investing is basically a way of being engaged in the economy, and we'll talk a bit about what that means, understanding the changes around us. So it's kind of important to invest in it, but really the entire wealth is going to get made in one asset class. And I know a bunch of you can't stand it. I don't care. I'm trying to help you. And if you're not helping yourself, I just don't know what to do. I've gone on and on and on for over 10 years in Real Vision about this. Since I first started talking about Bitcoin, it's up 450,000%. Now, most people just still don't get why I care about this. It's because it's the only way I see to truly give yourself the opportunity. And this is, you can see this behavior of investing in risky things by the speculative economy that has taken hold that people can't understand. It makes total sense to me. If your future is fucked because you're young, you are going to do what you're supposed to do, buy your 401k, that kind of locks it in because it's not underperforming the balance sheet, it's not outperforming. So that's savings. Okay, I get that. And it's better than saving in cash. But
A lot of things were badly damaged during the Great Financial Crisis, and the futures of billions of people around the world were changed forever. But the rich got by just fine. In fact, they didn't just get by without any permanent damage like the rest of us. They got richer and stronger while the poor got poorer. Forbes says that there were over 1,000 billionaires in the world for the first time in 2008. The world's billionaires had a combined net worth of $4.4 trillion in 2008, up from $900 billion the previous year. In 2022, that number peaked at an amazing $12.7 trillion. A 2019 report from CAP. Gemini, a multinational IT services and consulting company, found that the world's richest people more than doubled their wealth between 2008 and 2019. The study says that the world's billionaires and millionaires were worth a record $7.2 trillion in 2019. This is more than double the $32.8 trillion that they were worth in 2008. According to another report from Oxfam, 131 billionaires saw their net worth more than double during the pandemic. At the same time, 10 million people fell below the poverty line and now make less than $1.90 zero day. Global inequality has continued to grow with each new policy announcement by central banks, making the rich even richer and the poor even.
everybody knows they can't get ahead. So people have become speculative. Speculative is okay if it's not at the casino. If it's in a secular trending market like crypto technology, go for it. Just do it in the right way. So we see the rise of not only tech investing on Robinhood, but option investing on tech in Robinhood. That's the way, the lottery ticket economy, where people just don't feel like they have a choice. There's no way for them to get the 100, 200, 300 grand that they need to get in the property ladder, or to feel like they've got the savings they need. So people are taking bets. But in a secular market, actually pretty intelligent risk taking. And options are pretty intelligent too. Over time, if you get it right, you have the right tools, you learn how to invest. It's one of the core things that we do at Real Vision is try and teach people how to do this. You can make money. Crypto has been even easier because the sheer magnitude of the moves means you just buy and hold it. You just own the highest quality assets and do nothing. I mean, doing nothing is really that easy. Has been basically giving you about 100% a year returns for the last 7 years, 8 years. It's actually higher if you go back earlier in Bitcoin's time. But if you basically look at that, you're going to get somewhere between 80 and 200% returns, depending where you are on the cycle over time. So these are the compounded returns. These aren't just, year in, because obviously some years you're like 500% returns and other times you'll make down 70%. People don't get their heads around, but this is actually the best risk-adjusted reward asset of all time. Fidelity have this beautiful chart of all of these dot plots of risk-adjusted rewards of assets. And there's tech is quite high and, some markets are high, and then cyclical stuff like oil and stuff is low risk-adjusted returns over time because it doesn't really do anything. All of this, S&P, all in this. And then you go and there's a blank paper, and somewhere right at the top is a dot that says Bitcoin. It's a fucking alien. We have never been given an asset like crypto that has this risk reward by any yardstick. Drawdown versus, drawdown risk, volatility adjusted, any way you want to look at this asset, as long as it's over a period of time, it's by far and away the best asset we've ever been given. It's also the best performing asset of all time and remains the best performing asset. Every 4 years of that everything code cycle, Crypto Spring, which was last year, best performing asset in the world. Crypto Summer this year will be the best performing asset in the world. Crypto Fall next year will be the best performing asset in the world. Crypto Winter, which is 2026, will be the worst performing asset in the world.
While he agrees with other investors that the system is completely broken, Raoul Pal believes that the money printing will keep things stable for a while longer until a more permanent solution can be developed. Artificial intelligence and robots can easily solve problems, so Pal has been skeptical of predictions of a widespread collapse over the past year, despite the unprecedented great hikes and calls for a nasty recession from all quarters. Pal believes that the world's productivity and demographic issues will not be fully resolved until 2030. Until then, he advises making the best investment decisions for your portfolio by investing in cryptocurrency and tech stocks, which are the only asset classes that have outperformed the Federal Reserve's balance sheet over time. Do you agree with Pal's analysis that there is a chance to resolve these issues without causing long-term harm to the financial system? If so, please share your thoughts in the section below. Additionally, please subscribe to the channel and enable post notifications for more videos like this one. Thank you for your time.